What's up, MHA owners? Happy Thanksgiving. One day away from Turkey Day. And of course, those 3 games taking place tomorrow. So hopefully you'll get a chance to maybe listen to this today. If not, maybe on Friday. But then some games have already be ready to go, already in the books. But it's Wednesday night for us. And love Thanksgiving. Kind of have the 3 F's there: football, food, and family. Eric Lansing, Todd Diamond, Mikey Renault. Fellas, how we doing this Wednesday night, the day before Thanksgiving?
Ready. I'm ready for some turkey. Ready for some turkey and ready for some football as well. So I'm feeling good.
How about you, Miguel? You a turkey guy?
I am, but I must ask the question, Todd, are you a white meat or a dark meat?
Oh, both. And I don't. I don't hate. I appreciate. No. Give me both. Give me both.
What about you, Miguel? Do you
Oh,
favor one over the other?
I'm dark meat all the way.
Mm.
I think they're both great. As long as there's gravy around, I'm about the gravy.
Oh yeah.
I want to dip it in something.
I'm right there with you.
All right,
Or-
gentlemen. So for it being Thanksgiving, what are you most thankful about here for this 2025 fantasy football season? So, Mikey, we'll start with you. What are you thankful for in terms of fantasy football this year?
I am thankful for Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, you were having some quarterback issues. Obviously, Joe Burrow went down in week 2 of this season, and Brissett huge since you've put him in your lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I've been scrambling here and there, with the quarterback position ever since the injury to Burrow in week 2, and all you're looking for is like a consistent option that you can rely on so you can stop streaming guys. And yeah, ever since Kyler got hurt, Brissett's been that guy. So I've managed to get a couple wins under my belt with him. I'm very thankful for Mr. Jacoby Brissett.
Todd, how about you? What are you most thankful for out of this 2025 MHA fantasy football season?
Well, it's kind of a 1 and 1A because both these players have just been phenomenal and consistent all the way through and through since week 1. I guess this player week 2 when I played him, but Matthew Stafford and CMC, Christian McCaffrey. Stafford and CMC have been, I mean, have just been consistent all the way through and through. I mean, Stafford is looking like the the reality MVP and the good candidate for fantasy MVP as well. And obviously, and McCaffrey's just been automatic no matter what. I mean, so I'm thankful for those 2 players. Thank you very much.
I thought maybe CMC and his health would have been a big thankful, because who knows where you'd be without CMC. You'd still be, I think, in the mix, but CMC was your first pick. Obviously, the concerns are with him every year, and he's been relatively healthy this year. So I think that's huge for you. What am I most thankful for? I was going to say Trey McBride, but I've been kind of tooting his horn for quite a bit now. So I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs. And the reason why I said that is because I don't want to say hesitant to draft him. Obviously, anytime you get burned by someone, I got burned pretty bad by him a few years back. And I really wanted Bucky Irving, like incredibly, wholeheartedly. I had him high on my preseason rankings, and he went 1 pick before me. And I was like, oh, do I really want to take that chance with Jacobs, who could easily get hurt, or the Green Bay offense regresses? But he's been a top 10 running back. He's missed a couple of weeks for the injuries, but when he's in, he's gotten me 20 to 30 point weeks. And so, he's one of those things I just kind of kept with my rankings. So just do it. Pick Josh Jacobs. He's going to help you. Don't think about the past. And he's done great for me. So I'm thankful for Josh Jacobs, who, thank gosh, he is in my lineup. He's helped me win a couple weeks this season. So thank you. Turkey and gravy for Mr. Jacobs, who will, of course, play on Turkey Day tomorrow. All right, gentlemen. Well, let's continue on with the show. Let's talk about some news.
I don't understand what the news is. It's just like, hey, here's a bunch of you can't fix that happened that was horrible.
Well, Mikey talked about quarterbacks. He talked about Jacoby Brissett. And Joe Burrow did not play this Sunday. However, He has no injury designation heading into Thursday night's game against the Ravens. Will those tamales start the Bengals quarterback this week, or will you stay with Jacoby Brissett? The fans want to know.
People want to know. People
I have
want
to go. Come on, I have to play Joe Burrow, right?
Now, well,
Right?
what did you say to
Right?
me on Sunday? You
Right?
said I have to start Brissett, right? Look at the completions he racks up.
Mm-hmm.
You
I've
know,
seen him
So
hurt it.
there's pause in you. There is some pause in you. You just talked about it and how consistent he's been for you. He's averaging 50 points a game. So why would you not play him as opposed to someone who hasn't played since week 2? The Ravens aren't the best defense, but they've come around. They're not the worst defense in the league. So yeah, and then Brissett has Tampa, who didn't they just get lit up by the Rams this past week by Matt Stafford?
they did. Look, like I said, I
As
am
the team that's
very.
playing you, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. As the team that's playing you, I don't know really who to pick. I mean, I have Mr. McBride that pairs up with Brissett. So there's a part of me that wishes that you don't play Brissett, just because it kind of ends up being wash points type of thing. But then Joe Burrow, it's like, well, he hasn't done much. Are we expecting him to put up 50 points on the road against Baltimore? I don't know, but Joe Burrow's Joe Burrow when he's on. So go ahead. Sorry.
They kind of have to. Like, I mean, this is. I think Joe Burrow has it in his head like we essentially have to win out in order to have any chance, which I don't think they have any chance. But so yeah, I mean, they're just going to go balls to the wall. They have to throw. Their defense is so horrible that there's a reason why I drafted him with my first pick. And so I have every intention of writing this out with Burrow, unless he gets hurt again.
I know
And
there is. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, unless like he just looks horrible, then I've got Brissett there in case I need him. But
Are you talking about the next week, you mean?
yeah, but this is the first week where I'm looking at my team where I'm just like, this is what I envisioned when I drafted.
Oh,
Like,
Mike Gesicki, huh? That's what you envision.
well, we all
Just
know,
kidding. I'm just kidding.
tight
Tight
ends.
ends. Fair enough.
We're talking about the other pieces.
Oh man, yeah. So interesting. I will Mikey change his mind between now and tomorrow night at 6:20?
No.
He's going for it. Keep it on with the news here. We'll talk about more of the matchup as later in the show. Speaking of starting quarterbacks, NWA starting quarterback Lamar Jackson is not listed on the injury report and should be ready to go against said Joe Burrow. Speaking of Lemonhead, starting running back Josh Jacobs, he missed Sunday's game with a knee injury. Wasn't 100%. They decided to rest him, and he'll be ready to go, however, tomorrow on Thanksgiving against those Lions. So a lot of tamales and lemonheads going at it on Thanksgiving Day. Speaking of hot tamales, Marvin Harrison Jr. was limited in practice today. He's still dealing, kind of recovering from the appendectomy surgery. Probably not going to matter, but just saw that on there. Kilgore Trout starting running back Kenneth Walker dealing with a glute injury and was limited in Wednesday's practice. Everybody hurt their glute before?
A glute? I don't know.
Anybody
think so.
butt cheek injuries? Anybody?
No cheeks.
No cheeks?
No cheeks.
All cheeks, all good. I love it. Drake London, NWA receiver, likely will miss another week dealing with a knee injury. He missed week 12, probably going to miss week 13 here. The Gonzo Cats are hoping to have Brian Thomas Jr. for this week. Of course, Gonzo Cats need a big win to keep pace in the playoff race, but he's limited. He has been dealing with the ankle issue the last few weeks. So those are at least the main injuries in terms of what really matters heading into this weekend. Guys, ready to talk about week 12 and the recap?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's go. Todd's excited, so we'll talk about his first. Maybe the matchup of the week, which came from the Butterfingers, who sat at 7-4, and those Gonzo Cats, who were 6-5. Pollen and his Texans defense kicked off week 12 on Thursday night, sacking Josh Allen 8 times while picking him off twice to reach 19 points. And how about some kicker love? Andy Borregales chipped in 18. And hate to bring this up, maybe some post-traumatic syndrome, but Jahmyr Gibbs. Every week we talk about who resides at the top of the running back mountain. We go back and forth between Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, and Gibbs. And boy, did Gibbs have a say about this on Sunday afternoon. 53 whopping points. I'm sure he's going to be in that studs conversation. The Gonzo Cats also added 22 from George Pickens, who's been probably better than advertised here this season. For the Butterfingers, they were happy to get Quinshawn Judkins. See, now I can't even say it correctly. Quinshawn Judkins getting back on the field and being productive. 16 points on 2 rushing TDs. The Gonzo Cats held a 128-55 lead heading into the Sunday night affair. Todd had been riding the coattails of Matt Stafford and Puka Nacua for a good portion of this season and got a nice 53 from the Rams QB, but a relatively quiet night from the wide receiver as Nacua just kicked in 11 into the Monday night affair, and the Butterfingers needing kind of a Jahmyr Gibbs type of evening from Christian McCaffrey to try to catch those Gonzo Cats, who still had Bryce Young and Xavier Legette, while Young and Legette combined for only 32. CMC can only muster, I only say 24 points because, that's a good day for any running back, but he needed more than that. Didn't get it as the Gonzo Cats improved to 7-5. Big win for Pollen Squad. The Butterfingers fall to 7-5. Talk about your matchup there, Todd. Is a lot of good things, but Gonzo Cats came ready to roll for week 12.
Well, when your running back scores as many points, as many points as your quarterback is supposed to, that's very tough. Yeah, I mean, and obviously this was the week after I traded for Jamar Chase, and obviously didn't have Jamar Chase because he decided he wanted to spit in somebody's face. But hey, he said he was wrong, so okay. But I still felt like, okay, the ways obviously Stafford has been playing, and even the way Puka's been playing too. I mean, I know a lot of the touchdowns have been going to Devontae Adams, as we can see, as some of the 3 touchdowns, 2 of them went to Devontae Adams instead of Puka. There was one opportunity for Puka to get a touchdown. It was kind of a fade, but he's not Devontae Adams, and it's not what he does. But I still felt, to some degree after I was like 53 points. All right. Going into Monday night with McCaffrey. Again, this is Bryce Young. We've seen, like, Bryce Young, has he really shown, we've seen good and bad from him. And, going in that Monday night game, Bryce Young had, the way that game was going back and forth, at least that first quarter, second quarter, each team was throwing interceptions, back, left, and right. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. Bryce Young's going to have like negative points. This is going to be great. I just need McCaffrey, used to score 1 touchdown, and which he did. I was like, oh, I got this in the bag. And Legette had 0 points. And Mikey texted me during the game and on our chat, and he said, oh, it's like, you're in great shape. He has like 7 points. I'm like, this is amazing. This is awesome. Like, fantasy football gods are shining on me on tonight. So but obviously was not the case, because when McCaffrey scored that touchdown, again, Mikey brought up another excellent point, as much as I don't hear it, but guess what? Bryce Young had to throw the football. There's a lot of dip and dunk. And I was like, oh, it's just like knives, just every one. So, just came up short. At the end of the day, it was Jahmyr Gibbs, 53 points.
Up next, Notorious CUP came into week 12 with an 8-3 record, sitting in second place, while Kilgore Trout was hoping to get that all-important 7th win to keep pace in that race for 6th place. Hey, that all rhymed. Low scoring affair between these two. Drake May put up a moderate 39 against those Bengals. Travion Henderson hit double figures for the 4th straight week, but his running back duo of DeAndre Swift and Bashal Tootin combined for a paltry 2 points. For the defending champs, Joe benefited from the Drake London injury and got 12 points from Darnell Mooney, while Kenneth Walker III mustered up double figures for just the second time in the last 7 weeks. The difference in this matchup came down to Dak Prescott, who looked poopy for the first 3 drives, or I should say the first kind of early stages of this one against the Eagles, as the Eagles went up 21-0. But then Dak Prescott had to throw and rallied both his Cowboys and Kilgore Trout to victories. Joe, starting quarterback, had 23 completions, 354 yards, and 2 passing TDs for 54 points, and carried Kilgore to the 114-110 victory to get that all-important 7th win, while CUP falls to 8-4 and moves out of second place, trying to obtain that first round bye. Another team battling for playoff positioning is those Hot Tamales who had lost their last 2 games. They were 6-5 and taking on last place Chad Powers fan club. Miles' squad put up a very, very good 145 points. Devontae Adams, hey, he put him in his lineup. We were joking about that on the podcast last week, and he put up 20 points. A.J. Brown had his second best day of the season, piling up 19 points on 8 catches, 110 yards, and a TD. And how about that Rams defense? 4 sacks, 2 picks, and a TD. But the Hot Tamales got off the schneid, racking up 188 points. Jackson Smith and Jigba is on another level. He's breaking Seahawks records with still plenty of season left to go. He had 28 points. Amon-Ra St. Brown rebounded off a putrid Week 11 and scored 22 points. And we'll finish things up here with his third wide receiver, Rashee Rice, who chipped in 17. So doing the math, that's 68 points between the trio. And we talked about Jacoby Brissett. He's been incredible, taking over for Kyle Murray. Another 53 points for the Cardinals QB. Hot Tamales picks up that huge 7th win and now sits in 4th place. Of course, his point total, one of the best. Mikey, your thoughts as your team piled in a season high in points this past weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything that when everything's clicking, like it just shows how dangerous like my team can be. It can beat anybody. And so
even
yeah,
the last place team in the league. Good job. Just kidding.
I don't think it would have mattered who I played this week.
No, it wouldn't. You would have beaten everybody.
But yeah, I mean, those 3 receivers are, they're 3 top 10 guys. And so they're to be able to have that in your lineup every week. I mean, it's incredible. What more can I say about that? And then, to be able to have Jacoby Brissett, who's just been on a tear. He's been a completions machine. And to get the tight end position right, finally, that was the cherry on top of, the Sunday this week, to finally get the tight end position right.
See, I think that's where it matters. If your tight end's clicking, because it's been such a porous position for you. I was going to talk more about him in the studs. I think he's going to be in that conversation for sure. Only one team has officially, and this, when I mean officially, is by the website, clinched a playoff spot after Week 12, and that's Lion Rip, who continues to take this league by storm. May not have been his highest scoring game of the season, but the now 10-2 squad continues to get it done, defeating Cooper's Cousins 123-111. Cooper's Cousins has dealt with a plethora of injuries all season. Omarion Hampton, Mike Evans, J.K. Dobbins, Sam Laporta, now Baker Mayfield, who may have thrown his arm out in that Sunday night game, and Deebo Samuel was on a bye. So slim pickings for Dylan's squad, who got 2 points from Ricky Pearsall, 0 from David Njoku, 2 points from Darius Slayton, and how about 5 points from the Chiefs defense? Patrick Mahomes records 46 points for Aaron's team, 16 from the Colts defense, who took on Patrick Mahomes. I'm not sure what kind of devil work that is. And despite 0 points from Jamison Williams, just 5 from Kyron Williams, and 8 from MVP candidate Jonathan Taylor, his pickup of Michael Wilson was huge, picking him up off of free agency. Of course, massive 15 points, and he wins by 12. So there you go. So after CUP fell out of that second spot, who jumped into number 2? Well, that's yours truly, who tallied a season high himself in points this season, 166 in the 56-point win over the NWA. G's quarterback of Lamar Jackson, no good for the 3rd straight week, just 20 points. The once promising Rookie of the Year candidate, Emeka Egbuka, could only muster up 4 points, while Xavier Worthy continues to disappoint. He hasn't reached double figures since week 4. While Kareem Hunt's 18 points and Derrick Henry's 21 made it interesting for a while, the Lemonhead saw his free agent pickup of Emmanuel Wilson pay off huge dividends. Picked him up on a Saturday, 25 points. Cleveland's defense sacked Geno Smith 10 times as they scored 21. And Jared Goff, in a shootout with the Giants, scored 49 points. The Lemonheads now 8-4 and sitting in that final bye position. Another win here for yours truly. Super surprised, honestly, to end up with Emmanuel Wilson. He ended up getting dropped, I believe, by Miles's team. And Josh Jacobs was questionable, and I had to use a waiver on a Saturday to get him, and was huge. Scored a couple of touchdowns, 107 yards rushing, and to be able to have him do what he's doing despite CeeDee Lamb, who is being overshadowed maybe by Mr. Pickens over there. But Lemonheads in the second spot. A lot of things had to go right to get into that spot. I got to take on the tough hot tamales. We'll talk about that in a little bit here, but Lemonhead's having a good season. In our final match of the week, the Belt Sanders picked up their 4th win of the season, defeating Eaton W's 125-93. The Jekyll and Hyde of Jalen Hurts has been a bumpy one, but he looks stellar this past weekend, scoring a season-high 59 against the Cowboys. Travis Etienne Jr., he is 11th amongst all running backs, fellas, and recording 10 points. No, he had 19 points on the day. Mistyped that, but I remember the 19. And Tyrone Tracy Jr., of course, he just traded for him. He added 12 points. He's got more points since the trade. Tracy or Jamar Chase? Yes, it's Tracy. 27
Tracy,
points.
Yeah, it's Tracy.
Tyrone Tracy. Eaton W's just 32 points from his first-round pick, Josh Allen, who was abysmal on Thursday night. 24 completions, 2 picks, and 0 touchdowns. I think he had 6 the previous weekend. Didn't come up with a single touchdown this past weekend. Roma Dunze, just 5 points. Amongst all of those points scored by the Bears, and 5 points from David Montgomery, 7 from Tyler Warren. Both squads sit in the 8th and 9th positions, sitting at 4 and 8. So the dough of the week, Miguel, I only saw one candidate. Did you see the same one I did?
Yeah, I think I only saw one.
Yeah, notorious CUP ran with Bashal Tootin, who ran for a total of 17 rushing yards, just 1 point, instead of Zach Charbonnet, who's got 7 or 8 rushing touchdowns on the season. He ended up having a rushing touchdown, 9 points, not a big day, but of course, the difference in a win and a loss, which of course drops him out of that number 2 spot, which is probably the biggest caveat of all of this, is that now he's not in that number 2 spot. Just not the right decision there to go with Tootin over Zach Charbonnet. Anybody else want to say anything else, or should I hit the drop?
Let's hit the drop.
Hit the drop.
No.
All right, so Miguel, I'm going to put you on the spot, and we talked about this a little bit, but in terms of where we kind of stand in the standings here, I said officially Lion Rip is the only one that has an asterisk by his name, by the Yahoo website, to say he's officially in. Is everyone officially in, or is anybody, or can myself at number 2 fall out of the top 6? How are we looking? Give me some updates on this.
Yeah, you can definitely fall out of the top 6.
Oh no.
Yeah, there's a 1-game difference between 7 and 2 right now.
Correct. And we have 2 weeks left to go.
Yeah, and so there is definitely anybody from you on down could fall out of the playoffs at this point. The good thing is, I mean, it's not going to take much. Like this week is going to be the big, determining factor in a lot of things, because over the course of the next 2 weeks, a lot of these teams play each other, so there's going to be losses coming from these teams. So that's the good part. Aaron's clinched, but he has the next 2 weeks. He has Quayne and Joe, so Aaron's going to be playing a big factor in how this all settles. And Aaron's basically clinched the number 1 seed given his point total, so that's kind of out of play.
Number 1 seed overall. So with that being said, the rest of the league, anybody, so Gonzo Cat's currently in the 7th spot at 7-5. Anyone else out of that, they're mathematically eliminated by this point, correct?
Yeah, everybody is mathematically eliminated with the exception of the Gonzo Cat sitting over there at 7. So yeah, they're all playing consolation and for draft pick seeding, if you will. It's kind of different because last year we had a lot of chaos going on that last week of the year. Not so much this year. It's yeah, just seven teams fighting for 6 spots.
So unfortunately, we'll have to say goodbye to the Belt Sanders, Eaton W's, Cooper's Cousins, Chad Power Fan Club, and the NWA officially eliminated from playoff contention. Let's get into those studs.
The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
Todd,
who was incredible in week 12.
Kudos to you, Emmanuel Wilson. That is like, 2 rushing touchdowns. I mean, and the fact too, you said too, you didn't even know if you were even going to get him because your waiver wasn't that high. But I mean, he came in, and I mean, obviously, once Josh Jacobs is ready to go, obviously you're going to put Josh Jacobs back in. But for this week to get you to catapult you into the second seed, and Emmanuel Wilson was a big part of that. I mean, obviously, Goff with his 49 is obviously that's the main focus. But the other part of Emmanuel Wilson getting you 25, kudos to you on that one.
Yeah, it was kind of a surprise drop when I saw him, and I think it was actually I'm trying to see who actually dropped him. Going through everything, but I saw it. So yeah, it was Chad Powers Fan Club who dropped him. He needed a tight end because he went and Juwan Johnson. But obviously, as the Josh Jacobs owner, I knew that there was a lot of question in terms of if he was going to play. And Emmanuel Wilson played pretty well. He had 11 carries, 40 yards, and a touchdown. And obviously, at this point, running backs are hard to find. And so I was begging and pleading that I had a decent enough waiver to be able to grab him. He did 25 points. Great way to start the day, and kind of made the rest of it because I got to actually watch football with you guys on Sunday. And so to be able to watch that go down, it was great, to have one of those pickups. And sometimes those don't work out. That worked out for me. Mikey, stud from this past weekend.
Okay, so while I don't disagree that
I know what you're going to say.
Emmanuel Wilson was a stud.
Who was the stud of the weekend?
the fact that Todd was first and didn't say Jahmyr Gibbs is it's wrong, Todd. It's wrong. I mean, come on.
Well, I didn't say who was the stud of all studs. I just said who was a stud.
I get it, but he did it against Todd. Todd should know.
Todd must have said "damn it" like every time we saw the highlight of him doing something.
Pretty much, yeah. That's what it was. You saw me punch that pillow. You saw me punch that Broncos pillow. I don't know if that was punching.
Todd, well, Jahmyr Gibbs is amazing. Like
I know,
and you predicted it. I mean, you even last year you were like, "This guy is amazing. He passes the eye test." Is this I'm trying to go through the top running backs here. That's got to be the best performance by a non-quarterback, right?
Probably. Well, I mean,
Jonathan Taylor. It's because Jonathan Taylor had 46, and the highest for Christian McCaffrey looks like it's 35. So I think it is the highest non-quarterback output. So incredible to see that.
It almost just felt like every time he turned around, like he was like running, 50 yards down the field. Like,
yeah, I was like, oh God, it's like somebody tackle him, please. Or to quote Eric, kill him.
Gosh, 219 yards is impressive in its own right. It's just that 11 catches on top of that.
Fuck his 11 catches. F his 11 catches.
Wow. I mean, it's amazing the three. We talk about it every week. We're talking Christian McCaffrey one week. We're talking Jonathan Taylor. And now Gibbs here with a big 58. That puts him third, just behind Jonathan Taylor. So Gibbs, 240. Jonathan Taylor, 269, and Christian McCaffrey, 271. Just incredible. And then I'm going to go to Hunter Henry for Mr. Miguel. I know Mikey would have won despite that, but I mean, it's just, when things are going right, Hunter Henry, 7 catches, a touchdown, 115 yards, the tight end woes. Mikey talks about it all the time, and this time it panned out for him. And so he's not going to stick with Hunter Henry. We saw he had Mike Gesicki in there, so going to ride that Joe Burrow train all the way to the end. But yeah, Hunter Henry was a big-time stud for Miguel. Back to Todd. Give me another stud.
I'm going to go on another player on Mikey's team. Jason Smith Jigba, man.
Jason.
28 Jason.
Jackson.
Smith, Jackson. 28 points. Man, 2 touchdowns, 167 yards receiving. I mean, that day he's the all-time leading receiver in Seahawks history. That's insane in the membrane. But
for a single season.
For a single season, it's ridiculous. But Mikey said it too. Watch out for during the off season. Mikey was high on him, and poof. I mean, he's doing better than CeeDee Lamb. So good on you.
Well, you shut up.
Okay.
Mikey, is Jackson Smith and Jigba the best receiver in the league? Now, fantasy points wise, yes, but just overall.
Well, yeah,
is he better than CeeDee Lamb? Is he better than Jamar Chase, or is that just crazy talk?
So here's what I'll say. At their ceiling, Jamar Chase is better.
Okay.
But JSN has just been so damn consistent week in, week out. Like, I can, blink and it's like he's got 15 points and he does it like just so easily. It's like, and it's so nice to like never have to worry about that. Like, even in bad matchups, like, dude he manages to get there. Like,
well, let's be honest, he's had one bad matchup this season, and that was Texans, and he still scored 20 points. He's had a relatively easy schedule, but yeah, I mean, you still got to go out there and do it with Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
And yeah, 189 points, leading the way, 80 receptions, 1,300 yards, 7 TDs. And what is that? Trying to do the quick math here. He's 15 points ahead of Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is also a tamale. So, and if Ray Rice hadn't, been suspended the first 6 games, maybe he'd be up there too.
Rashee Rice, although Ray Rice was also suspended.
Oh, sorry, Rashee Rice. Going back in time there a little bit. So Todd went to Jackson Smith and Jigba. Who do you got, Miguel? Give me another stud.
I'm going to go for the second week in a row. I'm going to go with Dak Prescott.
Yes, sir.
And the reason is 54 points. Like, it's good, but there was a point in that game where like Kilgore was dead in the water.
Yeah.
And he was in real danger of going to 6-6 and being on the outside looking in. Like, the rest of his team didn't really show up. And yeah, I mean, his only way that he was going to win and keep his, hopes for playoffs alive was if Dak, kind of pulled his head out of his rear end and saved the day, which is exactly what happened in that second half against the Eagles. Cowboys woke up, came back from a 21-point deficit. Dak was a huge reason part of it, and here we go. Kilgore is right there.
The defending champ's not going away. I'd love to see, with Dak Prescott being able to get it going. That was huge because those first 3 possessions, like, oh, this is going to be over quickly. But you put in those positions where a quarterback that can rack up the completions, you're in it. The last that I'm going to throw out there, and I kind of mentioned before, and I say stud because Michael Wilson was a free agent pickup, a waiver used by Lion Rip. I think he had a high one as well. And he was huge. Michael Wilson. We talked about Marvin Harrison Jr. being injured or dealing with an appendectomy. I don't want to say, I guess you're injured after surgery. I don't know if that's the terminology for that, but someone he picked up scored 15 points and he won by 12. I mean, how huge is that? For someone like myself who picked someone up and was huge in my win, this was even more so because if he didn't pick him up or if he picked up the wrong dude, and then it's a loss. And I'd be a little step closer to him, maybe trying to overtake number one. Now, maybe not because of his points, but despite that, he was able to pick up the right dude, and it ended up working out bonkers for him. Just so to me, that's huge. I think to be able to realize the situation, pick up Michael Wilson, get those 15.90 points, 10 catches, 118 yards, in that somewhat high scoring, not really high scoring, but a close game, forcing the passing, and it kept him in that number one spot, clinching probably that number one spot. So there you go, Michael Wilson, free agent to fantasy stud. How about those duds?
This is the worst. You are the worst. I hate looking at your face. I want to smash it.
Mikey, we'll start with you. Who stunk it up this past weekend?
All right, I'm going to go with Josh Allen.
Yes, sir. Starting the week.
Yeah, and I feel bad for Kevin because, like, I've kind of, well, I say this because I felt all year like Kevin actually has like good players. He just, it's interesting. Like, he has a very deep team of guys that are maybe not like, he doesn't like have those real high end players, which is what happens sometimes when you take a quarterback that high. Not for me, but that's the way it worked out for Kevin.
All right.
But no, he does have a lot of good quality players. They just have not been able to like put it together in the same week to be able to help him out. And so when that happens, like he's relying on that first round pick of his and Josh Allen. And so when he comes out on a Thursday night and only puts up the 32, no touchdowns, like that puts you in such a hole. Because now you're expecting, okay, now where am I going to get 20 from one of these guys from? And all these guys have capabilities, but they're just not,
yeah,
elite status. So yeah, Josh Allen, if he's good, Kevin wins. If he's not superstar, then he loses and plays out of the playoffs. Sorry, Kevin.
Yeah, you're right. Because I mean, his first non-quarterback pick was Bucky Irving, and he hasn't played since week 4, where he was averaging somewhere around 15 points per game. And you talked about me being thankful. Maybe I'd be 4-8 if I had Bucky Irving instead of Josh Jacobs. Maybe not, depending on how everything kind of plays out. But just one of those things where I think you're right. He's got Kamara, who he drafted early, and he's kind of been a disappointment. He's had some good weeks and some bad weeks, and he had a bad week this week. And so, yeah, Josh Allen, I'm with you on that. Todd, give me another dud.
Well, I'm going to go with a dud on my team. Kayshon Boutte. He was no pun intended, but he was booty. It was stinky. He's been a little bit of a surprise. Kind of a little, I guess you'd say a little up and down. I mean, he's only had 1 week where he was, 20 some points, but I thought against, the Bengals, like their defense is just horrible. I'm like, oh, this will be great. And yeah, I didn't manage. Only managed about 2 points, and good thing next week I'll be able to put Harvey back in there, so I don't have to worry about that. But
Let's be honest, you put Harvey in on Sunday.
Oh, I sure did.
Didn't even wait for the week to be over. You're like, I need to get this guy off of my flex position.
Yeah, he's just stinking. He's stinking it up. But yeah, and the way that Patriots offense has been playing, I know he's more of the deep threat type player and touchdown dependent. But again, I thought the matchup for sure. I mean, we've seen the Bengals defense. The Bengals defense is just god awful. So I thought, okay, this will be a perfect opportunity. And I think there was an opportunity for him to score a touchdown, but I think Drake May, overthrew him or something like that. But yeah, Kayshon Boutte for me. He's gonna, he's going. That's why I switched him out. As soon as that game was over, I was like, yep, you're done. You're done.
I could see it now. RJ Harvey struggles. Jaleel McLaughlin has the better day. Todd's like, all right, next week, Terry McLaurin.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if McLaurin even plays. And he said he might not even play. He might not even play He might not even play this week or Terry McLaurin. I want to drop him because it's just like he's just I wouldn't do that. I know, but but Jaden Daniels has to come back too. That's the thing. That's the thing with that situation. Like Jaden Daniels got to come back first in order for that to work because Mariota ain't the answer to that. I'll tell you that right now.
Is JJ McCarthy the answer? Because that's my dud next. Is not JJ McCarthy, but
He-
Justin Jefferson.
Preach.
Holy
Say
cow!
it.
Talk about a drop from greatness to, and I don't know if it's all his fault. I haven't seen a lot of Vikings games this year. I did see one where he gave up on a couple of plays and it led to interceptions. I don't know if that's all of his fault. Maybe it's a combo, but he is 17th amongst all wide receivers in scoring at 6 points. CUP needed him in a big way, and he's only had 2 double-digit games in his last, 6 games. And so it just hasn't been a season, just 2 total touchdowns all season long. And so for a guy who always in the question for number 1 wide receiver when we're drafting, obviously Jamar Chase is probably the more for sure the number 1 guy coming into this season, but Justin Jefferson's always in the mix. He's breaking records in terms of scoring as many touchdowns the fastest, or in that mix for most yards the fastest. And this year has just not been his year. He's got 60 catches, 795 yards, and 2 TDs. Obviously, McCarthy's been bad, and even when he's been hurt, he's still not doing Justin Jefferson things. And I think, we always have this conversation, and we'll have this conversation next year. Who's his quarterback, and does it matter? Last year with Sam Darnold, I wasn't high on him. He has a fantastic season. This year, I kind of felt the same. I went CeeDee Lamb as opposed to Justin Jefferson. And Justin Jefferson with JJ McCarthy hasn't really worked out. So that's a big one. I mean, Justin Jefferson, first round pick, supposed to be putting up 15 points a week, and he has definitely not done that. Mikey, give me another dud.
Let it not be said that, even elite wide receivers can be quarterback proof with, Jefferson. Yeah, I was all wrong about that McCarthy thing, at least this year.
Yeah, we'll talk about that and things we did or got wrong this year. We didn't have that episode last year because I was so busy, but we'll make that. It's going to happen this year. Go ahead.
My other dud was Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Since he's been back, it's been a struggle. He was good-ish the first week he came back against Miami, but that was more the fact that Miami kept turning the ball over and giving him short fields, so he got touchdowns. And yeah, he's just been struggling. His yardage has been under 200 yards each of the last 3 games. His running is not as effective, and I wonder if that has something to do with the toe injury that he had came back from. And so, yeah, he just doesn't look like the dynamic version of himself. We all know, and this is a guy that's been a 2-time MVP, but as a strictly pocket quarterback, Lamar Jackson's never been a guy that you want to have because he doesn't rack up completions. But the other aspect of his game, the rushing yards and then the touchdowns when they get in the red zone, was always the thing that propels him up higher, and he's just not getting any of that. So now he's not even a middle of the pack quarterback. He's a bad quarterback in our league because he's not getting that.
25th amongst our quarterbacks. Yes, he's missed a few weeks to injuries, but all quarterbacks get hurt. And to be 25th, I think you're exactly right. His rushing helps play off of what he does normally as a passer. There was a couple games last year where he had 20 or more completions and had big numbers. And he started off strong at the beginning of the season. But you might be right. It might be a toe thing that has kind of kept him off balance, pun intended, I guess, since it's a toe thing. But it just hasn't been great for him. And to pile up just 20 points in a week where, NWA is trying to keep in pace, it was just not good. And against the Jets, no less, as well. And they just kept getting to him, and he just didn't have that mobility to get around the defense. And this is not going to get it done. Todd, did you give me another one?
All right, I'm going to go Buke.
Bouquet. Who are we talking about here?
No,
Deshaun Bouquet.
not not a bouquet. Not him. Kate Ogden. There we go. That's what that's what I want to say. That's what I didn't want to get. Only 5 points for him. The reason I say that, and obviously tight ends are, they're, it's sometimes it's throwing darts at a dartboard. I say that all the time. But the way the Bucks offense has been playing, even without, even obviously Mike Evans gone, everything like that. And now, granted, it didn't help either that Baker Mayfield threw his arm out threw his shoulder out by a stupid throw. But Kate Otton, especially in that offense, in that Bucks offense, the ball's going to be spread around a lot more and like that, and he just managed only 5 points. So not great, not great. I would definitely find. I mean, he's only had one. No, he's only had only twice this week 7 and week 10 where he's had double digits for a tight end, and yeah, that's not good. I'd try to go find another tight end.
Here's my problem with Kate Otten, and I don't get to spend a lot of time watching like the fantasy, pre-game shows, but I'm on the interwebs and the social media, and people like talk about Kate Otten like every week, pick him up, and I get it. There's not a lot of tight ends out there, but Mike, how many touchdowns does Kate Otten have this season? Give me a guess.
I mean, if it's not 1, it's 0.
Oh, it's 0. And so I get Tampa when the offense is rolling, they can score some points, but he hasn't really been a part of this offense. That day he had 13, he had 12 targets. And so that's the only time he's had double-digit targets. So I think that's what bothers me about Kate Otten is even this weekend I was able to watch some of the preseason, pick up Kate Otten. He's going to be big for your fantasy team against that Rams defense, and he just never really comes through for you. So tough. And so I'm going to play off of that one because I think my Todd was trying to say Emeka Egbuka before when he was talking about Buka. But he was disappointing for NWA as well. 4 points, 3 receptions, 32 yards. What happened and maybe it's this whole Tampa offense. I'm not sure, but this was a guy that just came out of the gates flying. I mean, he's still, what is he? 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 in terms of total points amongst wide receivers. So it's still in the mix, but just as I mentioned before, just one double-digit game in the last 6 weeks if you just don't count the bye week. But man, he came off to a blazing start, and I think Tampa's offense has kind of struggled since then and hasn't really come back around. It's hard not to start him because of what he's capable of. But I think Tampa Bay's offense as a whole, and we'll see what happens with Baker Mayfield, who decided to throw that Hail Mary at the end of the first half and maybe threw his arm with the football because it did not look good at all. I think that's it for the duds, unless anybody else has anything. But we will let's look at that week 13 schedule. And boy, we have some good matchups coming up this week. This is what we want to see at the end of a season where a lot's on the line. Number 1 line rip, 10-2, facing off against number 3. And that's 8-4 in notorious CUP. Is that the top matchup of the week? Or is it number 2 Lemonheads at 8-4, tackling 7-5 Hot Tamales? Of course, the natural rivalry. Tamales trying to tie things up with the Lemonheads. Tamales in terms of where they're ranked in the season, they're number 4. Or is it 5th place battling 6th place? Both Butterfingers and Kilgore Trout sitting at 7-5. The Gonzo Cats, they need a win. They're at 7-5 and going toe-to-toe with the 3-9 NWA. A couple of 4-8 teams meet up, Cooper's Cousins and the Belt Sanders. And then 3-9 Chad Powers Fan Club up against 4-8 Eaton W. So the great teams playing the great teams, the bad teams playing the bad teams, minus kind of that Gonzo Cats. So, Mike, you kind of talked about your matchup a little bit with me. How are you feeling about this matchup? This should be a good one. A lot going on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it makes fun. Tomorrow makes for such an interesting day. should be fun. Like, I think me and you have pretty much every game tomorrow has like different, implications. You got that first morning game where you have Jacobs and Goff, and I've got Amon Ra, and then the middle game, you've got CD Lamb, I've got Rasheed Rice and the kicker, and then the last game is, of course, Burrow and now Gasecki. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun day of food and football tomorrow for sure. But yeah, I mean, all three of those matchups you mentioned are just massive in their own ways, and our matchup is especially important just given the implications. Like, this could put whoever wins this matchup between me and you in the driver's seat, possibly for that 2 seed, given our points. And,
Yeah.
depending on what happens with Quayne, because he's right there too. Like, but yeah, I mean, this is for a late season matchup. It is as big as it gets.
Yeah, your 3 wide receivers definitely scare me for sure. I'm happy to have Josh Jacobs back, who can put up some big numbers. Of course, Trey McBride against Tampa Bay. That should be yummy for sure. But I love Goff to Amon Ra, kind of wash points in some regard. But yeah, Joe Burrow, we'll see how he does coming out of it. It should be pretty fun. I'm definitely concerned about Sutton. I mean, he has a decent matchup against Washington. But he's kind of been inconsistent. CD Lamb hasn't really, put up the numbers that a number 1 pick should, or first round pick should. Doesn't mean he can't. We'll see how that goes against Kansas City, but it should be fun. I feel like, and maybe it's just because maybe it's just me, focus on the negative. I never really have great luck on Thanksgiving. So I know the fantasy gods favor Mikey already in general, but on Thanksgiving, we'll see how it all goes. But it's also been a good season for me. So we'll see how it goes. Todd Diamond, big matchup for you and the defending champs at 7-5. How are you feeling about that matchup?
Well, this, like I said earlier, this might be I don't want to say do or die, but this is important. This could really be a turning point. I mean, if I lose again and this drops me to 6th, or this could catapult me maybe back up to maybe 4th or 3rd, depending on how many points I score. I mean, the matchups I have. Obviously I have Jamar Chase going on Thursday night as well, but obviously again, Joe Burrow will be back, which is which does make me feel good, and so forth. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, because I have Jamar and Jake Ferguson, and so Dak to Ferguson again, just wash points, I guess you could say. But again, it might come down to just like it did this past Monday. It might come down to Monday night with Stephon Diggs and New England's defense, depending on how the rest of the weekend goes. So yeah, I mean, definitely I have to. This I need to get this dub. I need to get this win. I need to get this win because it could really put me. It literally could knock me out of the playoff race, and just for maybe that 1 week, and depending on going forward. But at the end of the day, I gotta win. And it's again, and the good, and I guess good bad thing is that that Dak is going on Thursday, so that'll give me a barometer of what Stafford has to go in the matchup against Carolina. I do like that matchup, and again, in the way the way the Rams offense has been playing, I like my chances.
What do you see about this matchup, Miguel? Does anything stand out? Of course, Devin Achane has been awesome this season. Not a single digit total here this year, but they do pick up Devin Neal off the free agent wire, who had a decent. Well, DC had less than 10, but they need carries. You need a running back. He's a guy that I guess they can get it this week. But is anything special or something that stands out amongst this Butterfingers Kilgore Trout matchup?
I think the interesting thing is tomorrow because Todd doesn't. He has Chase tomorrow, but the and Ferguson. But the big thing here is that Dallas Kansas City game, if it turns into a shootout, that I mean, it definitely works against Todd because unless all those touchdowns go to Ferguson. But like if
Tell
Dak
you,
Prescott puts up like 60 points and gets him off to a good start, like it could be tough sledding for you. But especially because like McCaffrey's in a tough matchup that against Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And so tough matchup for McCaffrey could mean that he, maybe scores just under 20. He's so good.
He is that good.
But yeah, I mean, it's so huge for Todd because like literally there's so much, everybody's so close. And so if, Joe beats him, Todd moves to 7-6, and then say, Gonzo Cats wins his game, I win mine, CUP drops to Aaron. Like there could be like this 5-way tie at 8-5 with Todd sitting at 7-6 going into the last week, which would not
I think you
would
just
not be
scared the
good.
crap out of Todd there.
I don't know. I don't. I would say I need to look to the Rubik's Cube, but I don't know if the Rubik's Cube could help me.
Yeah. I will say, Todd, the thing that would benefit you in that scenario is that,
Mhm.
You play NWA in the last week and,
Mm.
CUP and Gonzo Cats play each other. So there would be a chance for you to pop back in. But yeah, it's scary.
Yeah. Well, let's
gotta win.
Yeah, I gotta win. That's all I gotta do. It's gotta win. It's gotta win.
Last thing I'll say before we get out of here, I'm thankful that there are no buys. So everybody, for the most part, obviously injuries outside of that, everybody's at full strength. So huge as we go down the final 2 weeks of the season. I'm going to try to get this podcast out tonight, although I'm extremely tired. I've been up since 6 o'clock working basketball games here today, but want to get this up for everybody and want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you're with friends and family, able to nosh on some great food, hang out with some family, and enjoy all these incredible football games. So for myself, Eric Lansing, Todd Diamond, Mikey Renault, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We will see you next time on the MHA podcast.
Gobble, gobble.